guys, welcome back to another video in C programming course. Myself, I'm Anam Manohar and I'm a campus code focus. So without any further delay, let's move on to today's agenda. So here we actually talk about control flow, particularly the nested loops, go to statement, continue statement, and finally the break statement. So let's move on to our code blocks editor. Let me open my code blocks here. I have created a project with the name of control flow part 4. Here's the default code which I have got from the control flow part 4. So I'm going to delete this default code here. I'm going to delete the code here. So here what I'm going to do. So first we're going to discuss about the nested loops here. Uh, nested loops. We actually talk about the nested loops here. So what do you exactly mean by nested loops? We actually talk about the nested if statement in our previous classes. So if you haven't checked that video, please do check that video and then come back to here, where we have already discussed what exactly mean by nested and how it works. And here the nested loop, we actually going to write loops inside one more loop. That I'm going to give an example here. I'm going to take a for loop here first. Before that, I'm going to declare a variable with the sum, with the name of sum, and I'm going to initialize with a 0 here. Here I'm going to write a for loop, and again I'm going to declare an initialize with the 1 I is equal to 1 here, and then I less than 3, and I plus plus plus. I'm going to give in this way. So I open curly bracket, close curly bracket. Within this, I'm going to type one more for loop. That's what I'm going to type here. I'm going to type one more for loop. The same. I'm going to change a variable name like j, and here I'm going to give j less than or equal to I and j plus plus. Within this, I'm going to give open and close curly brackets here, and inside that, I'm going to type sum equals to sum plus j. Here I'm going to print. I'm going to use a printf function. I'm going to print it out the percentage. Like before that, I'm going to use backward slash n here, and then I'm going to give percentage d, and then percentage d, and here I'm going to print out the I and sum. I'm going to print out the I and sum here. So this is what I have done here. So let's first run the code first, and then let's discuss what exactly going to happen here. So when I run this particular code here, I actually got this particular output. So how it actually it works and everything I'm going to explain here, like why we got this particular output here. So let's start on the let's start the explanation how it actually works internally. I'm going to explain it right now. So first, we already discussed about the for loop, how it works exactly in our previous class. If you haven't checked that video, please do check that video and then come back here so that you get some more clarity about the for loops. So here we actually have written the for loop inside one more for loop, isn't it? So first we have, first it will start from I is equal to 1 here. It will start from I is equal to 1, and I is equal to 1. Here it will start from I is equal to 1, and then we'll check this particular condition I less than 3. Is it true or false? It's of course it's true. So it's going to move forward. It's going to move forward, and then it's going to check the condition. This particular condition again. We have inside for loop. We have one more for loop. So it's going to initialize again the j equals to 1 here, and it's going to check this particular condition is true. So it's going to move this into this for loop, inside the for loop, and again we have inside for loop we have two statements. One is adding sum plus j, and it again it's storing it inside the sum. So we actually going to do this thing, how it going to actually work. So sum equals to sum, we actually initially we have initialized with 0, isn't it? So we going to give 0 plus, and then what is exactly j here? We actually starting from j is equal to 1, so I'm going to give j is equal to 1 here. So the finally the sum equals to 1. So that's what we got in output here. That's what we got in output. So we actually firstly we are printing I. So the I is 1 here. So we got output as 1. And at the same time we are printing the sum here. and the sum is equal to 1. So we got 1 and 1. I is equal to 1 and sum is equal to 1. So let's do the rest of the things as well. So what would be the next step here? So after once the I is equal to 1 happen, it again we are inside this particular for loop, right? Inside this particular for loop. So we actually done this for loop. We have printed this thing. So again, what's going to happen? It move back to this particular line of the code, and again it's going to increment j plus plus. So it means I is equals to 1 and j equals to 2. It's going to increment j plus 1. I j is equal to 2. It means, so now what going to happen? So again, it's going to check this particular condition, j less than or equal to I. So is it true or false? So it's so is it true or false? So it's going to check. So it is false. So it's not going to execute this line of code. Particular this line of code is not going to execute, and its condition is false. So it's going to terminate this line of the code, and then it again move back to this particular line of the code, and again it's going to increment. So now it's going to be the false here. So it's not going to run exactly. This particular line of the code is not going to run. I is equal to 1 and j is equal to 2 is not going to run. So now it again go back to this particular line of the code. Again, it's going to increment I plus plus. So now I is equal to 2 here, and then it will come inside this for loop. So here we have again again one more for loop, that is now it again start from j is equal to 1. Again it is going to start from j is equal to 1, because this I, when I is equal to 1, it will start from 1 and it's going to check the 2 and we keep on repeating it. But here when it comes to 2, the condition is false, so it's not terminated from this particular line, and again it go moved back to the line number 8 here. So here we have incremented I is equal to, now became, we have incremented I plus 1. So now we got output as 2. So I is equal to 2 here. So now when I is equal to 2, again it's going to get into this particular inside loop. So get into this particular loop. So here we have, in this particular loop, we have j is equal to 1 and j less than or equal to I, j plus plus. So here again it's going to check this particular line of the code with j is equal to, I is equal to and j is equal to 1. So here we going to check this particular line of code. Uh, Again it's going to print these two statements here. It's going to execute this particular two statements. First it's going to add this sum here. Now sum is equal to and sum. So what is the sum here? Now sum is 1 here. So sum plus 1 plus, so what is j here? So again j is equal to be 1 only. So it's going to add this particular line. So now sum is equals to um, sum is equals to 2 here now. So we got the output as I is equal to 2 and the sum is equal to 2. The same code we got here as well. Manually also we got the same result. So now what going to happen? Again I is equal to 2, and again it's going to inside this loop, again it come back to this particular line of the code. Again it's going to check this particular code, particular condition. So we have j less than or equal to I. So we have j is 1 and I is j less than or equal to I. So its condition is true. So this condition is true. This particular condition is true. So it's going to, again it's going to move back to this. Again it's going to jump into this loop. So inside this loop we have again two statements. Again it's going to execute these uh, two statements. So how we going to do in this way? So now j is equal to again 2 here. J is equal to 2, and now here the sum is equal to sum. What will be the sum here? So we got the result as 2. So the previous result is 2, and then now j, what is the j here? So we have j as 2 again. So here we got the j as 2. Now sum equals to 2 plus 2 is 4. So we got the output as 4 here. So we got the output as 4. So when it comes to our output screen, the same code we got the output in our output as well. So that's what it's about explanation, and this is what about the loop statement, how it works exactly. So it's going to keep on repeating, like whatever we have, like inside for loop we have one more for loop. So again it's going to keep on repeating until this particular condition is true. and then if it is true, then if it is false, then again it come back to this particular line of the code. Again it will increment it, and then it will check the condition. If the condition is true, again it's going to inside this particular loop. Again it's going to execute many until this condition is false. Once it is false, again it come back to this particular line of the code. Again it's going to increment it. It's going to check this particular condition. If it is true, again it's going to come back to inside the loop. Else it's going to terminate, and then it's going to return 0, and then that's what going to end of the code. So that's all about nested loop. Um, so now let's move on to go to statement. So what exactly mean by go to statement? So let's look into the go to statements now. Let's look into the go to statements now. So now let me comment it out first here. I'm going to comment it out here first. Here I'm going to comment it out. So now I'm going to mention the comment it out first with so or else I'm going to write it here. I'm going to write it here. So I'm going to mention go to statement here. I'm going to mention go to statement here. So what going to be the go to statement? Let me explain it right now. So what exactly mean by go to statement? Go to statement is available in C language. It can be used to jump from anywhere to anywhere within a function. Within a function, anywhere to anywhere. Let's write the code first, and then let me explain that with the code. That's going to be better for you. So now let's write the code here. So we are inside the main function. So now I'm going to declare a variable with the name of sum here, and I'm going to initialize with a 0, and I'm going to give a for loop here. Inside a for loop, I'm going to again declare um, I equals to and initialize with a 0, and I'm going to give a condition I less than or equal to 10, and I'm going to increment I plus plus open and close curly bracket. Within this, I'm going to add the sum, and I'm going to store it inside the sum here. And then now I'm going to give I'm going to use a if statement here as well. The if statement, I'm going to use a if statement here. I'm going to give a condition I equals to 5. If I is equals to 5, then I'm going to give this particular go to here, go to keyword, and then I'm going to give go to addition. I'm going to use a go to addition here. Now what I'm going to do is addition here. Within addition, I'm going to print it out sum of 5 numbers, percentage d and backward slash n here, and then I'm going to print out sum. So what exactly it mean by? So see, this is the go to keyword I have used here, and then here we have used the label like whatever the comes after the go to, that we call it as label here. In our go to statement, we call it as label here. So we have to mention the label name. You can give any name, and here as well you have to use the same label name. You can use this label name inside anywhere inside the function. You can also use before this also. That's not going to be an issue here anymore. You can use anywhere inside the function. Like you should not use outside the function. If it is you are using outside function, it's not going to consider as it won't works. You can use inside the function, it will works. So here we have used go to, and we have given the label name. So here I'm also going to mention the label name again here as well. I'm going to print the if this condition is true, then we are moving to this particular line of code, and then we are printing the sum of 5 numbers is we are printing up to 5 numbers only. So let me run the code first. uh, so we got the output as 15 here. So sum of 5 numbers is 15. So actually we are given condition up to less than or equal to 10. So it should have to move up to 10, right? Isn't it? That's what exactly the for loop works, right? But whereas here we have given the particular condition, if I is equal to 5, if it is comes to if it is I is equal to 5, when I is equal to 5 is reached, at that time it's going to execute this line of this statement here. We have given the go to label, we have given addition label here. This it's going to uh, go to this particular line of code wherever the label is mentioned there. So this is the label. You have to follow this particular syntax here. You have to write the label and then colon here. You have to mention the colon and then you have to enter, and then you can give any kind of statement here. You can give any kind of statement here. So I have mentioned here printf function. I have given this sum of 5 numbers is here. I have given in this way. So this is all about the go-to statements and how it works and all. So let's move on to next topic, that is continuous statement. So what exactly mean by continuous statement? So let me write the continue here first. So continue. So continuous statement. So how it exactly works and all, we'll discuss it right now. So what exactly mean by continuous statement? Like before that, let me write the code first with an example. I'm going to tell you what exactly mean by continuous, so that you can get some more clarity about the continue. So let me write the code first here. I'm going to declare a variable sum equals to 0 here first, and then I'm going to give a for loop. Uh, I equals to 0 and I less than or equal to 10, I plus plus. Open and close curly bracket. Within this, I'm going to write an if condition. I equals to 5. If I equals to 5, then this particular line of code going to execute. I'm going to mention here that is continue keyboard. So if it is I is equal to 0, then it's going to continue. Else, it's going to add it and it's going to store inside the sum. That's what I'm doing here. And outside this for loop, I'm going to print out percentage %d, and I'm going to mention sum here. Yeah. So now I'm going to print out this code first. Let me print the code first, and then let's discuss what exactly about the output and all. So let me run the code first. I'm going to run the code here. I'm going to run the code first here. So we got the output as 50. So what exactly is happens here? See, so when actually it will start from I is equal to 0, and it actually starts from I is equal to 0, and if it is if it, and it will keep on continue up to I less than or equal to 10. Isn't it? That's what we have given as a condition here. But when it comes to I is equal to 5, only this particular I is equal to 5, not other than that 6 or 7 8, not going to consider 6 7 8 and 9. It will only consider the 5, only that particular 5, not going to add that particular 5 only. 5 itself is not going to add. Other than that, everything going to execute. When I is equal to 5 trigger, it going to continue. It's not going to move to this particular else statement. It actually, when I is equal to 5, it automatically going to continue. It will going to trigger the continue, and it's going to come back to this particular line of code, and again it's going to increment it, and then it's going to keep on moving and going to add the rest of the things, and this is what we got output as, that is 50 here. So now let's move on to other new one more topic, that is we have. So yeah, sorry, I forgot to say that what exactly mean by continue is like it's forced to the it forces the next iteration of the loop to take place. So that's what is happened right here. So when we actually talk about the continue here, we are just giving it continue here. It will force to it will skip the particular line of the code. It will force to move to the next iteration of the loop. That's what it exactly mean by continue statement. So that's what we have discussed in this particular example. So let's move on to one more topic, that is break statement. Let me write the break statement here. Break statement. So what exactly mean by break statement? It is used to bring the program control out of the loop. Control out of the loop. So what exactly mean the control out of the loop? So let's try with an example. So I'm going to declare a variable as 10 equal to, I'm going to initialize as a 10. Now I'm going to use a while loop here, and a less than 20, and open curly bracket. Within this, I'm going to print the function. I'm going to print percentage V and backward slash N here, and I'm going to print out A here. So, and then A plus plus C. So now here I'm going to give one more condition, A greater than 15, open close and close curly bracket. Within this I'm going to mention a break here. And now that's all about this code. So now I'm going to run the code here first. We have declared the A is equal to 10, and we have given the while loop A less than 20, and then I'm going to print if A less than 20. I'm going to print it out and I'm going to increment it. If A greater than 15, then it actually going to break the particular line of the code. So let's execute this code. So we got the output as up to 15 only. So here we have mentioned I is equal to A is equal to 10, and then we have given a condition A less than 20. It means we have to it actually print up to 19, right? Isn't it? But 10 to 19 it should be printed. But what happened here is it actually printing the statement A and it's incrementing, and it is also going to check this particular if condition. If A is greater than 15, means A greater than 15, it means 16. From 16 onwards, it's not going to execute that code at all. It's going to break this line of the code, and then it actually it break this particular loop. It actually is going to break this particular loop and come out of this loop, and it's going to come this particular line that is written 0 and going to return 0. That's, and then the code going to be terminated or going to be ended. So when actually trigger 16, it actually going jump come back out of the loop. So that is what use of break statement. So that's all about today's class, guys. So we'll meet on next class again. So thank you for watching our video. Please do like, share, and subscribe to CodeFocus if you like my work. Please. Thank you.